Two-goal hero Erling Haaland. Erling, very many congratulations.
Thank you.
How did you look back at that performance tonight?
Difficult, a lot of emotions, and there's nothing much to say. There's one more game, and relax, focus, and believe in ourselves.
Do you feel like you've got one hand on the trophy?
No, one more game. As I said, focus. Now go home, relax, enjoy. Nothing more.
What was the message in the dressing room from the manager?
One more.
Yeah.
Don't think. Now relax, and then we go again Sunday.
So no wild celebrations in the dressing room right now?
Don't celebrate yet.
Yeah. Talk us through Stefan Ortega's performance and contribution.
It's incredible. He's so good, and he's such a good guy as well. Proper German, no, he's a great guy. And look at this. I think you have to go. Euros now as well, because he's so good and so important.
Yeah, how big was that save against Son?
It's incredible. And not only him, Ederson as well had some good ones. Don't forget that. But Ortega won in the moment and in everything. Almost got a heart attack. So
talk us through your mindset in the penalty. How calm was you? How nervous? Or
I thought,
at the moment you live
my
for.
heart was beating so quick. But I told Ruben when we were standing there, so tired, and I think also that's why I didn't think. It's the first time I didn't think, and just about getting the ball in the back of the net, and that's what I did. And yeah,
it was quite telling, Erling. Actually, you were just saying one more to go. Let's not get too carried away, and just exactly what Pep said to you in the dressing room just now.
Yeah, as I said now many times, don't think, don't celebrate or anything. We played 37 games now, so it's a marathon. So
and out this way for you.
I knew that a striker for City should score a lot of goals, but again, honestly, I don't care anything about this. I don't care how we win, just win. As I said, I don't. Okay, it's that's okay.
But he absolutely cares mostly about the team and trying to win the trophy, and his goals are obviously going to be a huge contribution to that. So you've got to do your individual performance before you can contribute to the team, of course, and that's what he's certainly been. 3 or something goals in his 2 seasons so far, with another
63
game.
and 65.
I mean, you are expected to in that Manchester City team. You are getting more chances than virtually anyone else in the league. However, the way he's finished them, the way he's stayed fit for the majority of those 2 years, under pressure, he's a machine, isn't he? The size of him, the presence of him, he's just a bit of everything, and he must be a nightmare to defend against. And this is his first goal in 51 minutes. Might have been a little bit edgy going in at half time, but those nerves were soon settled in the second half. I mean, it's good play by Foden down the left-hand side, and then again, we mentioned, didn't we, at half time, the way they were doubling up on that right-hand side. De Bruyne makes a lovely little run. I thought Romero was soft here, and I never thought I'd say that about him, Sean. Yeah. I mean, he could easily have smashed Phil Foden there and snuffed out the danger.
Yeah, and also there, Bentancur should have put a tackle in, but he's on a yellow, so he can't. And Kevin makes his trademark running behind, and the ball's just in between the goalkeeper and the defence, where you always want the ball put from a winger's perspective for a striker, and like he does.
And you always want your striker there, don't you, Sean? I mean, I get him from 2 yards away, and that's what he does. You can talk about, he doesn't have many touches outside the box, all you like, but the most important thing is when the ball is coming in, right place, right time, finish it off. And he does it more than anyone.
Yeah, and that was his first after that.
Yeah, exactly. It was... This is his yellow card early on in the game, and it was a bad one. I mean, a bad tackle, definitely deserved a yellow card, so he can have no complaints there. You see he's late, he's high on Phil Foden, and it's a bad tackle. This is the goal. I mean, Romero is at fault to start with, but look at this. This is... It's a challenge of a man that's on a yellow card, that can't do anything. He let it wrong, but that's over the top. So a tricky, and it just shows you the importance of discipline. Right at the early part of the game, he didn't need to tackle Foden like that, and if he hadn't, conceding the first goal because your man's already on a yellow card, and it just shows you the importance of discipline. Right at the early part of the game, he didn't need to tackle Foden like that, and if he hadn't, then they wouldn't have gone 1-0 down, and he wouldn't have got brought off. So maybe he needs to learn a lesson as well.
Interesting. Ederson, fourth time he had to go off. I mean, is there a braver keeper around in this situation, Sean?
No, he always seems to put his body in harm's way to stop. But this is, he doesn't even look at Romero. His eyes are solely on the ball. I can imagine he knows the hit coming, but he can't do much about it. I can imagine he knows the hit coming, but he can't do much about it. And that is a painful one. I feel like Romero has to go for it. I don't think he's meant to hit him, but that hip has literally took him out of the game. And then you get this frustration from a man that's just emotional. I feel like he wanted to stay on the pitch. He didn't want to come off. The game of that magnitude, he wanted to play more of it. But I think they took him off personally for precaution. They got another big game on the weekend coming up. They've got an FA Cup final to prepare for. So I think it's more in terms of that. But I don't mind stuff like that when you're getting taken off and you're showing frustration. I think that's different to, say, the Bentancur situation, where he should understand, first of all, that it's tactical. You obviously didn't make that tackle, like Mo said, based on your yellow card, which cost us a goal. Whereas that is just precaution, and that's just a man that doesn't want to come off the pitch because he feels like he's fine.
Yeah, I like that attitude as well, I must admit. Not necessarily showing the world that you're frustrated, but you believe you're okay. The doctor or physio have checked you. You've then played on for another 5 medical decision why he's come off. And we get it. You know, you've got to be safe rather than sorry in this day and age. I get that. And he has had a nasty blow to the head, but he's already been checked and he's been allowed to continue. So why the change of mind after another 5 minutes? I'd be frustrated as well. And he's already been checked and he's been allowed to continue. So why the change of mind after another 5 minutes? I'd be frustrated as well. And he was frustrated, but I'm sure he'll get his place back. The other frustration is obviously the goalkeeper had a massive part to play. And of course, he'll be sitting there thinking, I should have been making that save. I would have made that save. I'd be the hero, you know. Things like that. And the frustration of Ederson, I really can. And that's what you call a winner. That's what you call a champion. Here's a save. I mean, it's an awful mistake from Manchester City. And it's not the normal type of save. I was thinking he would take a step back and then almost run at Son. But he actually runs back and then just stops and makes him...
He's a keeper, but when he puts his head down, he hasn't visualised, and that shows how much Pep has appreciated.
Doesn't give kisses out lightly, Pep, does he?
No, he definitely doesn't. Maybe the odd hug, but not the kiss.
He deserves his kiss tonight, doesn't he? I mean, what a huge moment that is in the title race.
Yeah, it's massive. I think that was about the 86th, 87th minute when he made that save. And OK, there was going to be another 9 or 10 minutes injury time. So there would have been time for Manchester City to maybe get the winner. But, I mean, this literally could be the biggest moment in the title race. It's massive. It's like scoring a goal at the other end. It's just huge. And he deserves every little bit of that kiss off Pep Guardiola.
I have to agree. I don't think Son lifts his head up. After he runs through, he looks and then his head's down. I don't think he sees, like Mo said, that he's backed off and stopped and not moved again. Yeah. And he's played it so close.
In your career, Ortega will be remembered forever by Manchester City fans for making a save that doesn't. He stays big, stays tall for a long period of time. I used to hate it when goalkeepers did that. I wanted them to almost commit, make a move. Almost it can make your mind up as well. Sometimes you'll tease them and try to make them charge you. If you take a big touch and they think I'm taking a big touch here, and they might come and dive at your feet. So you can do little things to try to make stays big and stays tall and stands long. Very difficult as a centre forward. As I say, I think Son, who I do rate as a finisher as well, he's normally you wouldn't want anyone else in that position. But looking at the chance again, I think a little slide into the near post was probably the finish there, and he's fluffed his lines.
Can you imagine the Arsenal fans at that moment? They probably thought, this is it.
Yeah.
How many times have they seen Son score in those situations in other games?
Exactly. And if you'd asked all of those Arsenal fans, as I say, I'm sure, do a poll on who they want running through one-on-one in that team, you'd probably want Son. So it was a big moment, massive moment in the title race, huge repercussions everywhere you look. But I suppose it's not over yet. They still might have another bite of the cherry.
And it was a big 4 minutes because at the other end, as you mentioned, we saw the celebration from Doku once he'd been fouled and the penalty was awarded.
Yeah, and from this throwing back, how about this ball from Phil Foden? It's that good, it actually slows down for Doku to get there. And then that little shimmy there, we know Doku does a lot. And when he gets that and the foot goes in, he's always going to win that penalty. But like you said, the celebration after just showed how much it meant, not only to him, but where they're going in the direction and the position they're in. And now that, like everyone's saying, they're in pole position now. So that penalty, but the cool and calmness, one step, and the fact that Haaland said for the first time he didn't think about it. Now, I would definitely be thinking about it if I'm nervous. So it shows a lot that even a guy with 60-odd plus goals in 2 seasons can still get nervous at a moment like that, then anybody can.
And he will be the first player ever in his first 2 seasons in the Premier League to win the Golden Boot in both. He's up to 27 league goals now. Just the 38 this season after the 52 last season in all competitions. I still smile when I'm saying those figures.
Quite incredible, yeah. It was quite incredible, yeah. It was looking like quite a tight race, wasn't it, for the Golden Boot this season? And all of a sudden, in the last 2 or 3 weeks, he's just surged clear, and now it looks like a procession. So, as I said, he gets more chances than the most. He's one of the better finishers in the league. He's got attributes that sometimes you just simply can't defend against. If you hang one up onto that back post, what can you do? I mean, he's so big, so powerful, such a good header of the ball. He's got so many strings to his bow, and sometimes he's undefendable.
Try and make history. He won 4 consecutive titles at Barcelona as a player. He's now going to try and do it with Manchester City as a manager. Talking of history, just want to clear something up for Michael, because when we were talking about Erling Haaland's stats there...
Oh, don't tell everyone.
No. He will be the first player to score, to get the Golden Boot in his first 2 seasons in the Premier League. And you said, didn't I do that, Steve?
Yeah, I did.
And then our statsman said, no, you'd already played 2 games the previous season, so it doesn't count.
OK. That's pernickety.
It's harsh.
That's pernickety.
But I'm only relaying the information.
2 first seasons. That's a scandal.
But it was your third
I'd
season.
already played 110 minutes to get this season.
Which was your first season, technically.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. It's a bit like assists, but...
OK.
Yeah. What was interesting there was, in the first half, he said that his players were playing for the consequences of the result. It's good to know after all these titles, they're still human, these City players, anyway.
Yeah, well, I think to play the way they do and go through what they kind of have to be. I think they have to be level-headed. They can't get away with themselves and, like Roger said, think the title's already theirs. They have...
But like you said at half-time, they looked unusually nervous tonight. It even got to them, didn't it?
Well, you're going to. I think when you see Arsenal doing what Arsenal are doing, I don't think Arsenal played that great at Old Trafford, but they still won the game. And when you see teams still till that last point, and if you mess up, the chances are you will lose the title. So in many respects and ways, I totally understand it. I am a little bit surprised by it because of what they've come through and what they've already achieved. And I think we all went of what they've come through and what they've already achieved. And I think we all went big moments. They should be able to handle the pressure, but I still think you're human. Like, you can't... I don't feel like you can escape it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I like that line from Pep Guardiola. We were playing the consequences. It made me think, and yeah, and that's exactly how Arsenal played. That's exactly how City played today. It's almost one of those don't want to make a mistake type of attitudes instead of free-flowing, just play the way we do. The bigger the prize, the more you maybe think about it a little bit. So yeah, I get that, and maybe... You know, we're all looking at the West Ham game thinking West Ham have got nothing to play for, everything to play for City, of course it's going to be more, everything to play for City, of course it's going to be one way. But with all the examples that we've just reeled off, maybe it's not over just yet.
Who knows? One worry tonight was Kevin De Bruyne going off. Really sore one from Pape Sarr and his tonight was Kevin De Bruyne going off. Really sore one from Pape Sarr and his Achilles.
Yeah, I don't think Pepe Sarr meant it, to be honest with you, but the way Kevin takes the ball and kind of cuts across him sort of thing and runs in his path kind of kills him, but he does get him nasty down the back of the Achilles. I actually thought he would have got taken off. You very rarely see Kevin go down and stay down and scream the way he was in that situation. So happily and luckily, he managed to play a few minutes, but he got subbed off, I think, in many ways, hopefully, fingers crossed, more for precaution.
Yeah, obviously it was a blow as opposed to anything else, which is normally, painful, but not too bad. You saw the stamp on the back of the Achilles there. I thought the yellow card was the right decision. I agree. I didn't think it was intentional, but it did stop an attack. And of course, he did foul him. So, but it was
Certainly hope so.
Wasn't fit to play at the weekend.
Well, City will certainly hope so. Aside from the title story tonight, there's a brilliant one, of course, for Aston Villa. Spurs had to win, they haven't, and that their Player of the Season awards, that is on social media. Unai Emery on hearing the full-time whistle at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. What a brilliant achievement. As we mentioned on last night's show, he inherited a team 1 point above the relegation zone. His brief was to keep Aston Villa in the Premier League, and then he led them to 7th and into Europe. He's now led them into the Champions League. It's only the 3rd ever season they'll compete in Europe's top competition. He was your manager of the year. It's an astonishing achievement and brilliant emotions and scenes from Villa's end of season awards there.
What a picture that was. What a picture. The joy, long season, lots of work that he's put in. He's the most hard-working manager out there. But look at that for emotion. Not just him, but the players around him. And yeah, absolutely fabulous. Well-deserved. I think they've been really entertaining. They've had an incredible home record, certainly for the first 2/3 of the season. They were almost unbeatable. And I'd be really excited if I was an Aston Villa fan, not just because of the results of this season, but I just think they've got a bit of money behind them. They're now going to get the riches that comes with the Champions League. They've got a good squad anyway. They've had a few injuries. I think they can be better anyway. I think they've got a brilliant manager that's going to take them to the next level. And we look at teams like Manchester United, Newcastle, Tottenham and Chelsea and all these teams that are pushing to get to the top. Aston Villa have to be in that conversation now. They've proved it this year, and they've got a lot going for them that they could go and push on again next year.
Yeah, congratulations to Aston Villa. The last team... Wow, that is really interesting. In the last 48 hours, I've seen foundations that are really fragile inside and outside of...
Happy, does he?
From it.
I wonder what that can be, whether he's had a meeting with the people above, whether he's started looking ahead to next season already, which would surprise me if he had. Yeah, that's a head scratcher, that one, but there's certainly something that's affecting him and annoying him at the moment, so that'll obviously come out in the hours and days to come, but not a happy man there at the moment, so that'll obviously come out in the hours and days to come, but not a happy man there.
No, in terms of foundations, do you think that might mean the recruitment going forward to try and give him a squad to go higher?
I'm not sure. I'm a little bit like Mo. I thought everything for me was going well. Obviously, they're not where they want to be in the Premier League, but in terms of...
Well, they've lost 5 of the last 6, haven't they? So.
Yeah, but he was going well. Obviously, they're not where they want to be in the Premier League, but in terms of...
Well, they've lost 5 of the last 6, haven't they? So.
Yeah, but if you listen to the fans, the Spurs fans, they're all delighted. They're losing, so better than everybody expected off the back in being in this position to challenge for the Champions League. And we knew it would take 1 or 2 more transfer windows, just like Ledley said, to get roughly to where he wants to be. So I just assume, right, you take the positives away from this, you make your get roughly to where he wants to be. So I just assume, right, you take the positives away.
Of recruitment or whatever, I'm not sure. But anyway, that will come out, I'm sure, over the next few days, because that seems like it's a very big...
In terms of, like I said, the progression of the style of football they're playing, how exciting, magnificently, on both accounts. I don't think Spurs have a deep enough team to do that and achieve magnificently on both accounts. I don't think Spurs have a deep enough team to do that and accomplish both.
Maybe that's the foundations.
Maybe. But when you look at it in bare facts, I mean, they're about half a dozen points ahead of where they were last season already with another game. Let's